Hello everyone. Today we will be discussing on an interesting topic, on how to read your own thesis. Before we start, today we have Dr. Firdaus here with me.
Hello everyone.
I would like to pass this to Dr. Firdaus on how to read your own thesis.
Thank you, Dr. Jacqueline, for inviting me. Yes, today's topic is very interesting. It's called How to Read Your Own Thesis. Yes, sounds funny, but I know that many of us, we don't know how to read our own thesis. First of all, let's start from the scratch. How to write our thesis. This one is not our topic today, so I'm not going to discuss in detail. I would like to request Dr. Jacqueline to explain about the stages in writing.
Alright, let us review the stages of writing. There are 4 steps serves as a guide to writing thesis. Step 1. Making an outline. This is an important step after identifying your own research title, whereby this step includes identifying the headings of each section in a chapter with the purpose of staying focused. Now let's look at step 2. Step 2 is about preparing to write the thesis, whereby you are clear about your approach and have a very clear plan in mind. Step 3 is about making a schedule, which the purpose of this step is actually to make sure that you are always within your time frame of finishing each section. Step 4. Starting to write a thesis. Yes, after setting a clear outline, having the purpose of what you will write, and after making a schedule, now you are ready to start to write your own thesis.
So these are the basic stages of writing, and we assume that our thesis is ready. Let's say it is not about thesis, a part of it. Example, any chapter or anything, any heading or any section, let's say a couple of pages or 5 pages or even 1 page is okay. So after writing, what to do? We have to keep aside for our revision purpose. We need to know how to do self-revision. There are several stages of self-revisions as well. So what are those? Again, I would like to refer to Dr. Jacqueline. She'll be explaining what are the things that we need to consider in self-revision stage.
Now let's look at the process of self-revision on how to critically review your own thesis. Firstly, you need to ensure that you have enough argument and the purpose remain clear throughout the thesis. Ask yourself this question: are all my arguments valid, justified, and current? Have I cited them? Another important consideration to ask yourself is this: despite thesis clearly introduces the idea and explains the significance of the study, and are my findings, argument, and justifications clearly justify my research and has fulfilled the requirement of this research? And also you need to ask yourself this: does my thesis attract the reader's interest? Which is very, very important as a researcher. You need to ensure that the transition between sentences to sentences, the connection between each paragraph are clear. Major points are supported with sufficient amount of most recent evidences and analysis. And it is very crucial to ensure that your conclusion follows logically from the introduction to the literature review, methodology, analysis and findings, and in short, it's the entire thesis.
Once it is done, you have to keep it for a while, and we call it cooling period. It can be 1 day, it can be a couple of hours, even it can be 5 or 6 days or even a week. The purpose of keeping this and following the cooling period is, once you are done, you need to check again that what you have written, whether it is okay. So now you have to open up again your section that you have written. This one starts our topic today: how to read your own thesis or own output. Let's say a couple of pages that you have written. After the cooling period, you have almost forgotten that what you have written. Now you need to know how to read this. There are 3 stages we need to follow. Stage number 1. Yes, as an author, we need to read this thesis. We need to check whether what is written, it creates the logic and it does make any sense. That means your writing is logical. Definitely, we need to check several things here. We need to check whether it is written coherently. Coherence means a continuation from paragraph to paragraph, from section to section, or even in micro level from sentence to sentence, whether it is a continuous writing, there is no fragmentation. Make sure it is written in that way. Secondly, the things that we would like to discuss about anything, your problem statement for example, or any other part of the thesis, make sure that those all components are there. Then we need to check if any idea or anything that it is missing. So as an author, we always can revise our thing, as we hear from Dr. Jacqueline just now. So we need to input all of those. We need to fix those. We need to revise. This is called self-revision as an author. Stage number 2. In stage number 2, we need to consider we are the supervisor of this thesis or write-up. So we need to do some assessment. Assessment how good it is. First of all, we need to check whether it creates the logic. As if we don't know anything about this, and this is the first time I'm going to read this. After reading, if it creates any logic, this is the main thing we need to read as a supervisor. That means we don't know anything what is written, as if we are not the author, we don't know anything at all. We are reading for the first time in our life, and it creates the logic, and it is in line with your research objectives and questions. Next stage is called examiner stage. Examiner stage, as if this write-up, of course this is not yours, of course this is not your supervisor's write-up, and you are an angry examiner, and you would like to fail this student. So what to do is, you need to read such a way that any error you find, immediately shoot to fail this student. Mark the places that is not correctly written or that can be improved further. After that, after these 3 stages, we put aside our thesis, which means we are ready for any further revision or any further amendments or any further improvement maybe is there. Then we take note all of those corrections that has been found after 3 stages as an author, as a supervisor, and as an examiner. After that, we will fix again. Once you are done with fixing of those all errors or perhaps the improvements, we will submit to this to our supervisors, and hopefully our supervisors will not say what you have written, it is entirely rubbish. No, I don't think so. After assessment, self-assessment of reading our own output, I hope it will create some logic and that will satisfy the supervisors. And that's how we can be a little smarter. We need to know how to read our own thesis. Actually, this is a sort of assessment. After that, definitely we'll go for the revision and modification to proceed further. What is that? To submit to the supervisors. Thank you, Dr. Jacqueline, for inviting me today. So that's how we can improve our own write-up, and that's how we can improve our own thesis as a whole. Thank you so much.